It's Oskar with a K. Ignore that slide. Be ready to go.
So hello, my name is Oskar with a K. I'm a muralist and I'm a workshop leader based in Manchester, live in Levenshulme. And today I want to talk to you about being seen. My slides are really about being seen and what it means to be seen. So I want to introduce myself at age 14, here I am. Who else was awkward as fuck when they were 14? Yeah, very good. I was once described as quiet and ghost-like at 14. I didn't really say very much, and yet outside of school, outside of my usual friendship group, I had an alter ego. I was a graffiti writer, here I am with my cool hair, and I lived a life of adventure. I lived a life where I could really explore my creativity, where I had a lot of fun. And it was an alter ego. It was an adventurous life, and I want to show you what one of these nights of painting graffiti was like. So you have to imagine, I'm sat with my friend in my bedroom, and it's totally dark. Well, it's darkish with the light on, and we're just sat in total silence. We've got bags of paint in front of us, and we're just waiting for my parents to go to sleep. The rustling in the room next door to die down. So it sounds like it's died down. So now we head out my room. We start creeping down my stairs, and every single creak we stop and we wait for 10 seconds. So it's all clear. You can head out my front door very, very, very quietly. So we're heading to town, and the thing is we look really, really young. We look very young. So for every single car that comes up the street, we duck, just in case it's the police, because we're really terrified of being caught by the police, right? So every car, we duck. We don't question how that would look, seeing two 14-year-olds with backpacks hiding behind cars, but whatever. We didn't really think about that. We just didn't want to get caught, okay? So we head into Brighton city centre. It's about 1 in the morning, and we're looking up at the spot that we're going to paint. It's a rooftop. I start climbing the scaffolding, pull myself up, grab my friend's bag, and we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories high until we're right at the pinnacle, the peak of this rooftop. But we actually have 5 separate buildings to get across to get to the spot that we want to paint. So we start walking at the top of these roofs, right where it's like that. And every little kind of slip, we're worried that underneath someone's going to hear us and think we're robbing their house and call the police, right? So blood pumping, etc. But we reach our location, we reach our spot, and we're looking out over the whole of Brighton at night. It's completely lit up, full of adrenaline. We just feel like kings of the world. It just feels incredible. When we start to paint, and you can imagine the paint fumes, just smelling the paint fumes as we start to paint these letters. So later that week, I would have graffiti writers that I admired, graffiti writers that I really looked up to, older graffiti writers say, how did you paint that? How did you get away with that spot? And in those moments, I felt seen. I felt like someone. I felt so awkward at school, and yet at this point, I was seen. So we're jumping forward 8 years in time, and I'm sat in front of a shrine like this on a Buddhist meditation retreat, and I've got into Buddhism over the last few years, and I'm sat in front of this shrine, and I'm reflecting on how much has changed in the last 8 years since that night on the rooftop. Now, what I'd found was, particularly over the last 3 or 4 years, I was only really going out painting illegally when I was drunk, which kind of reflected some of my inner conflict around painting illegal graffiti. I was trying to follow Buddhist precepts, and yet I was painting on other people's property, and they didn't want it there, basically, straightforward. So I started feeling quite a lot of conflict around this. Not only this, but I was getting into situations where my work was being tagged over, and I was getting into fights with people, and I can't fight. I mean, I don't know how to fight, right? But I was getting these situations in graffiti, only in graffiti, and I was starting to become very disillusioned with the whole scene, this kind of macho scene. So, sat in my meditation posture, I know there and then on this retreat that my time as a graffiti writer is over. It's dead. The name that I've been writing is dead, and I'll be going home and I'll be deleting that Instagram that I'd worked so bloody hard on for so many years. It was just the right time. Now we're jumping forward again, actually to just a few weeks ago, and I'm working on this campaign, I Am Greater, which is a violence reduction campaign aimed at young people throughout Greater Manchester. And we're doing a mural workshop. And I'm working with 10 young people from Tameside, on the side of a youth centre. So we start to paint, and there's one young person in particular that's standing out to me. She's very quiet, she's about 14, 15. And I can just see she's really skilled with the paints. Like, I'm really surprised. I ask her, have you used spray paint before? And she says, no. So as the workshop starts to kind of finish up, it's just me and her painting. All of her mates have gone off to play football, and she's remained to help me finish off this piece, much to the surprise of her youth workers, because she loves football, and she's never shown an interest in art before, and yet there she was, helping me finish off this final bit of the mural. So, right at the end of the painting, I approach her and I say, if you haven't considered taking art as one of your GCSEs, please do. Please consider it. And she smiles, and I can see that in that moment she feels recognised. She feels like something has been seen in her. So coming back to this, a lot has changed since I was this age. Those things that felt like I was lacking, a sense of self-confidence, a sense of self-worth, being seen really, I get that in different ways than graffiti now. But I'm no longer a graffiti writer, but I am a workshop leader. And through my workshops, I hope to be able to give some of those qualities that I felt I was lacking at that age, that sense of confidence, of self-worth, and most of all, the sense of being seen, of being recognised. So thank you.
Thank you so much.